Annette Funicello. She was a very interesting woman. She was a Musketeer back in the between 1955 and 1959, and she was one of a group of children they'd come on TV and they'd do some kind of entertainment show. I remember seeing some of it, in repeats and whatnot, and she had just recently passed away, and she was also in some movies.
It was with Frankie Avalon, is that
right?
Who she was with?
Right, and she was actually when she was growing up, she had a boyfriend, Mr. Annika, as she called it. He wrote, apparently, and I didn't know this, wrote the song Puppy Love for her in her parents' living room, which was kind of cool. She was in a lot of movies. She wrote an autobiography called A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes, and she was in the movies The Shaggy Dog, Zorro, the TV show Zorro, and then she was loaned out, as they say in the industry, I guess, to CBS. So back in 1959 to do some movies and TV shows there. So she was an interesting woman. She contracted multiple sclerosis, which eventually is what did her in. And she actually hid that for about 5 years because by the time she decided to come out with this, she said, hey, I think it's time to, let everybody know that this is why I'm acting like this, so you don't think I'm drunk or something. And as a matter of fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Michael J. Fox has the same kind of condition. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is very sad. Annette was loved by her fans. I never watched the Mickey Mouse Club, but in the 80s, Annette and Frankie Avalon made a campy, self-mocking comedy called Back to the Beach. Mm-hmm. And as a kid, I watched that movie many, many times. Mm-hmm. So that's how I know Annette. The movie, from what I remember, it featured a really funny cameo of Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was singing The Surfer Bird. It was hilarious, actually. Reading her biography, I learned that she was very involved in show business. She had a pop music career. She was in a bunch of movies in the 60s. She did commercials right up into the 80s. And she spent a lot of time raising her kids and making time for them. She prided herself in being a good mom, and her kids said that she was always there for them. While she suffered from MS in her later years, she did live a wonderful and productive life. Yeah,
she did. When they put her in that movie, the beach movie, they asked her, said specifically, don't show your navel. And she goes, no, all right, I won't show it.
Yeah, Walt Disney said that to her.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, nowadays, like, when people out there in the industry, like Madonna, Cher, and so forth, they all have...
Oh, Packard, it's Britney Spears and Lady Gaga.
Yeah, no, please. I'm going to a point here. Actually, she actually was a trailblazer in that, because the fact is, like the Cher and Prince and all these people, they just use the one name. Yeah, and she was the first person to actually just use a single name.
Right, yeah.
So
she was known by her one name, yeah.
Right. And she had lunchboxes and mystery novels about her fictionalized adventures. And now the thing was, when she was growing up, she was making $185 a week, and she didn't get she lost a pair of ears or whatever, those fake ears, and she got charged $55. I looked it up. In today's money, if she was being paid that, she'd be making about $1,500 a week, $1,500 to $1,600 a week. And the ears, if they were charging by the inflation rate, would be about $500 to $600 for that. So it just goes to show you, the amount of money that these people were making back then. Medusa, your thoughts?
Well, I don't know what more I can say that you and Joe have already said. Mm-hmm. There was something poignant I read about her in an obituary that I thought was very touching, and I'll paraphrase it. How she ended an era of Beach Boys, Frankie Avalon, and Annette Funicello on the beach, doing their beach party stuff, as Joe said. And there came a new era of hippies and free love. So she created a dividing point, as there were, to that sweetness and innocent period transition into hippies and free love and all that meant, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she ended an era when her life ended.
Yeah.
It's just...
I'm sorry, Medusa, I just got a correction from the chat room here that Michael J. Fox actually has Parkinson's, not MS. I'm sorry, the two were...
Right.
I kind of screwed that up.
A correction from Crystal says so.
And yes, Crystal, yes. She's another one of those one-name wonders, like everybody else in the big industries. But yeah, she was always very wanted
Wholesome.
to make very wholesome. Yes, that's the word I'm thinking for. Thank you, Medusa.
Yeah.
She was very wholesome. She always wanted to portray that image, and she always wanted to make sure that she was not in any movies or TV shows or anything that would counter that image. She just wanted to keep that image clean and pure through her whole life.
She did not want anything to be derisive of that.
Right, exactly. Truth Surge, your thoughts?
Well, I never watched the Mouseketeer program when I was young, so that whole thing sort of, it's like a black hole in my memory. It's just not there. So
That's right.
obviously I'm familiar now with it because of YouTube. You can just poof everything that you missed. Oh, it's just great. I go on there and I find old bands and music and shows, but I never saw it growing up. Oh, and I was going to correct you on the MS thing too, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Hey, I'd rather be corrected and than
be wrong.
Than
I
right.
was just waiting my turn.
No, it's
That's
okay.
how I am.
That's okay, no problem.
But I never watched that, but I've obviously I've seen her here and there, and I'm sure I've caught bits and pieces of it, in my teen years and beyond that. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have that many opinions about it, but I got like you were saying, I got this image that she was very attractive, but she was also always trying to be, kind of a role model,
Yes.
And so it wasn't. Now let me ask you this:
Sure.
Wasn't, maybe our resident trivia expert will know this, wasn't Britney Spears a Mouseketeer?
No.
Yes, she was.
Was she?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Really?
She was on the new Musketeers show.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yep.
that.
That's where she
I
got
didn't
her
even know there was
start.
a new one.
Yeah.
Packard.
I know more
The
than
two
I thought I knew.
girls.
Yeah, see, you know more about it than you thought. Yeah, exactly. So,
Hubba.
Yeah.
She was the new Mouseketeers.
I heard she still stays friends with a lot of the kids she was on that show with.
yeah, she was the only mouse. As a matter of fact, as I read in the article here, that Annette was the only Mouseketeer to ever be offered a contract from Walt Disney. So, and all the other Mouseketeers,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was the only one that ever got a contract. She got called in the office. She was afraid she was getting fired because she was too tall. And over the years, because between one season to the next, she went in a girl, and next season she came back fully developed.
Oops.
Like, so I think, I'm not sure if they tried to hide that or not, but I'd have to go back and look at the videos between the two and see if they actually try to
She
tie her
wasn't
down.
shaving her head though, so
No,
to her credit.
she was getting she was developing, not turning bald.